I am the Fortnite Bird Guy. I'm the guy who made the very, very popular "If you keep moving like that, I'm gonna get you pregnant" or whatever video. That's not gonna be a surprising idea for a lot of you, but it's something that I've never really talked about together, right? YouTube and TikTok and Instagram have always been so separate because, quite frankly, they're two different worlds, and that shit sucks. The Instagram and the TikTok, it sucks, and that's why I don't talk about it. I just don't care. I don't promote it. I don't want them to be seen as together. I don't really care if you want to see them as together because I think the juxtaposition is pretty interesting there, right? I feel like comedically, this shit is pretty sound that I do on YouTube, and I think I try to present myself as somewhat of an intelligent person. Obviously, I'm not, right? Um, the funny part is when I talk about sucking dick. I hope not, but like still, I try to present myself as some sort of competent human being on YouTube, right? And then Instagram and TikTok, I obviously don't. I try to present myself as a degenerate and just stupid. And when I say that, I try to. I don't really try anymore, right? I mean, I post on Instagram and TikTok, but I don't give a shit about it, right? I mean, it sells some cameos every day, and that's why I do it, right? I want my tax money. It pretty much is just my tax money at this point. It's so easy. I don't care about it, and quite frankly, it's just a cheap laugh. And that's what I would consider the Instagram in general. So once again, that's why I don't try on it. I don't promote it. I just don't care about it. And I've moved past it. Essentially, I'm still posting just because I want to, I want my tax money. And that's essentially, it is going to pay my taxes, and I'm cool with that. That works for me. But this idea of the Instagram and TikTok has been reborn in an individual named Bunwriter76. Okay. And a lot of people on TikTok compare us because, he does make the same content. You know, he has made or a TikTok story. I'm not sure if he's on. First off, if you're not on Instagram, start posting on Instagram immediately. I don't know. I don't follow Bunwriter, but I imagine he'll probably end up seeing this video at some point. This part of the video is kind of going to be advice and just me talking about the general situation because people, you know, there's people that comment shit like, "Oh, you're better than Bunwriter," "You're worse than Bunwriter," shit like that. So I want to make it clear that I don't have problems with the kid. He can keep doing what he's doing. Right? I could be mad that it is it is blatant copying at the end of the day, right? He made a TikTok story post one day saying that he's kind of doing his own thing. If it makes you feel better, sure, you can say that. But once again, I don't have a problem with them. I don't care. Um, a big thing within the whole thing though is I made the content, right? I want to at least have credit for this genre of video because there are like at least a dozen copycats. There's Dear Rider 37. At one point there was Twiggle Monster or Giggle Monster or some shit. Tickle Monster. I don't know his name. Fuck that kid. I'll tell you right now. Fuck that guy. I don't like that guy at all. He was a bitch, dude. Because I called him out for copying me. And I guess I shouldn't have because I'm not calling out Bunwriter because I don't give a shit. He can do what he wants. And I've grown past that. But I was a smaller creator at that time and I wanted to protect my content. Now at this point, I'm past it. And that's why I don't care now. Fuck Twiggle Monster. I've talked about this in a Minecraft video. I called him out and said, "Bro, you're copying," because he was quite literally copying. He was copying word for word. Bunwriter at least doesn't do that. It's the same general idea, right? It's dick, cock, balls, all that shit, but it's not word for word. Twiggle Monster was word for word, bar for bar. He was doing the same shit, and that pissed me the fuck off. Fuck that guy. Seriously. He was exactly copying the words, and he would make it. This was my big problem with Twiggle Monster. He would make it fucking. It was PG Llama Rider. Bunwriter is keeping the vulgarity, and that's what it's all about, right? Twiggle Monster was fucking PG Llama Rider, and you can still go find him. I imagine his account's still up. He quit posting because you were copying me, bro. It was downright copying. Bunwriter is influenced heavily, not, but he's not copying 100%. This motherfucker was copying 100%. and he was making it PG. And I call him out for it, for him being a fucking is essentially is what he was being. And he posts a video exposing me for being racist, homophobic, every fucking Gen Z loser ass, hey, I'm in college for liberal studies and my girlfriend has a dick. And I don't have a problem with that, but every single thing that, his fucking liberal arts teacher taught him, he was accusing me of that because I've made homophobic jokes. Obviously, I've made racist jokes, but he was presenting them in a way that as if I wasn't publicly, like he was trying to expose me for shit that was hidden. No, dude, I publicly do this shit. Fuck Twiggle Monster. This is a whole side rant. Bun Rider, what I'm trying to get at here, buddy. Sorry, I'm saying buddy. I'm not trying to fucking. I'm bad. I'm assuming he's younger. He doesn't look that old. He's got to be like 16 to 18, which is even better in terms of what I'm about to say, right? So you are just now blowing up, and I really want you to learn from where I went wrong. And I don't care if you do or don't. You don't have to take my advice. Try to branch out. Try to start making in real life content. And I think a good example of this would be, and this guy's kind of falling into this same problem. You can look at someone on Instagram. I don't really know his name, but he does the send this to somebody that's white or whatever, and he does the little dworking thing. He blew up off of some stupid shit. The matcha, or no, the old guy with the bald hair, the gimmick, the filter. I don't know his name once again. And then he switched it up. He started introducing new content. At first, people were like, what the fuck are you doing? Where's the bald guy? But he is now blown up. He is blown up on social media. Bunner, you got to try to change it. I mean, at first, people are not going to like it, but you got to try to innovate because, I mean, I wish I would have innovated more. I mean, I don't really wish because, once again, I don't care. I think short-form followers and short-form all this is pretty useless, but you got to try to innovate. And I kind of did, right? I did the Xbox messages and shit like it. But try to do in real life shit. You've already face revealed, and that's my big problem, right? I could probably be the fucking king of short form social media. I'm not even gonna lie. Like if I were to make in real life like little skit videos, like they would be competing with people like, and this is in respect. I'm giving respect to this person because I think he's really funny. Although I think he's the king of comedy on Instagram and TikTok. I think he's fucking hilarious. I think my videos would be competing with him if I were to face reveal. I don't want to face reveal because, once again, short form's not even worth it, right? You can get like 100 million views on short form content and say, okay, so for your TikTok video to get 100 million views, it's not going to be a minute long unless it's really fucking compelling for the whole minute. So most likely it's going to have to be a 15-second clip that can get played a bunch. And so you're not getting ad revenue. You better hope you have a Cameo set up. But then again, if you're doing a skit, why would somebody want to buy a Cameo from you? They wouldn't give a shit, right? The reason I was able to sell so many Cameos is because I'm I was essentially talking to the audience when I was making the things. I wasn't making like a skit, That's something you just look at and laugh. You don't want to like have that guy talk to. I mean, maybe you do, whatever. But essentially, you're not going to make a lot of money off of 100 million views on TikTok if the video is not a minute long. If it's a minute long, then again, you're not even looking at a lot of money, right? And so I don't give a shit about it. It's not all about money, but it's like, why put so much time into something that isn't even going to make it? Then you got to start selling merch. So you got to sell merch. Actually, that's kind of the best way to make money on short form content, or maybe have a website or a Patreon or some shit. But then again, how are you going to get people to buy your Patreon off of a 15-second clip? There's just not enough involvement there. And social media is essentially fucking useless except for building other social medias like YouTube and Twitch. That's what you got to do instantly. And he's already streaming, so that's a good thing. But probably do in real life shit. Like, just introduce it. Just out of nowhere one day, put a skit up, dude. Like, I think, once again, you really got to capitalize on this and do better than I did. You don't have to. I don't really care what you do. But that's pretty much the whole point of the video. And I wanted to address the overall idea of Llama Rider. This is kind of like a tribute to the Fortnite bird. I'm not done with it. I'm gonna keep doing it until it doesn't pay my tax, my tax bill at the end of the year. Um, so it's not over, but it essentially is, and I don't plan on ever addressing it. I don't plan on promoting it. I just want it to. I don't even care if it grows. Right? I want to simply sell cameos. That is the whole point of Instagram and TikTok right now. Now, YouTube, completely different story. I don't ask you guys for money. I don't care. I simply just want you to view the videos and enjoy the videos and shit like that. I have never really even begged for you guys to do a membership. I haven't set up a Patreon. I don't care. Money doesn't really matter on YouTube. Once again, cameos can pay the tax bill. YouTube, I'm doing out of passion. So I don't want that to get mixed up. Kind of, sometime, in the video I started talking about money, but I don't want it to get mixed up that YouTube is for money, because obviously not, right? If it was for money, I would have quit doing it, because the views are obviously less than they were. And to address that, I'm so very obviously shadow banned. It's not even funny, right? I've had 2 videos. They're not strikes necessarily. They're warnings. Luckily, they were for 2 different things. One's for hate crimes, even though I said that you could marry 9-year-olds in Iran. You can do that. And then the other one is for harassment and bullying, even though those are kind of the same thing. But I'm glad YouTube decided to classify them as 2 different things, because if not, I would have been dealing with a strike, and then my channel would probably be dead, right? But people aren't getting notifications, shit like that. So I hate when I hear the counter argument, oh, you don't have a shadow ban. It's just the way it is. And I think part of it is just the way it is, especially on YouTube, just because, you can't maintain this huge influx of people for 3 months, right? And it's not even 3 months. I've been on YouTube decently relevant, not decently relevant. I'm definitely not relevant. I've been on YouTube getting over 5,000 views on a video since June now, right? And how I can't maintain the people that came for one specific clip, because that's all they want. They want more of that one clip, and then they might leave. Or they might leave because that's all they wanted. But then sometimes you can get people to translate to liking pretty much everything you do, and I have fans that do that, and I'm very appreciative of that. And once again, it's not like I'm not objectifying the person. I'm not saying, oh, they're just a fan. I genuinely do like the people that I have on YouTube that follow me and watch the videos. We got people like Lieutenant Clean. We have fucking the dude who messages me, sends me reels on Instagram and I never respond to it, Clements. We got fucking, a lot of people. Obviously, I'm blanking right now, and I apologize for that. But there are so many people. We got Solomon, or however the fuck that name's pronounced. And I genuinely do appreciate those people. So I don't want that to get lost in this. I've talked about money a lot in the video. I do appreciate everybody. Once again, this is just to address, I don't have a problem with Bun Rider. And also, if I put Bun Rider in the video, he's blowing up right now. Maybe I'll get some clicks. There will never be a collaboration, because once again, I don't give a shit about that Instagram and TikTok. So there will be no collaboration. But once again, there is no bad blood. We've messaged. Not really. I pretty much told him he can do whatever he wants. This is not what it is. I mean, we haven't messaged. We're not having conversations. Also, evolve your comedy a little bit. And that starts with branching out and doing different forms of content. Try to make shit, and don't go full out what I did. I completely switched everything, and and none of the people on Instagram and TikTok would translate if you tried to switch over. But evolve the comedy a little bit more past dick and balls. Maybe keep doing that, but try to slowly change it just a little, bit by bit. Try to get away from the dick and balls, or you can stay there. I don't care what you do, but it gets old quick. I'm cutting in here, so after I get done talking here, it will cut back to what I was talking about, so don't let that be confusing. I want to expand upon this idea of it getting old at some point. Right. So I'm not saying that gay jokes are going to get old because they are forever going to be a thing, but people only want to hear gay jokes so long from the same person. And what I mean by that is, and I'll play a clip and then I will talk about what I mean.
Me pulling the butt plug out of my bro's asshole after it's covered in fiery shit leftovers after we fucked. Dude, I will never, and I mean never.
Okay, so that is one of your most recent videos, and that is I could upload the same exact thing. People wouldn't give a fuck about it, right? Because I've already said shit like that
Dude, that shit
before, right? But you, 24 hours ago, have 330,000 views on this video. I posted something very similar at around the same time. Let's listen to it.
skirting past my male coworker, trying to act like it wasn't intentional when my dick rubbed up against his ass and maybe a little bit of liquid, graced his holy backside. Bro's got cake.
So those are very similar. It's about the same shit, right? Obviously, you used a bit more buzzwords, which is better for engagement or whatever. But I have, let's see here. I have 6,000 views on that. In the same time, you have 50x'd the amount of views. That's because you're new right now, and it's great right now, but that's not going to last. And you can look at what I did, and it did not last. So you got to try to get away from it. People only want to hear, once again, gay jokes and jokes in general from one type of person for a very limited amount of time, right? I got about 2 months. Don't end up with 2 months. Try to move past that. And don't, once again, do not change it tomorrow because people are still there because they want to hear you talk about fiery butt plugs or whatever the fuck. Okay? But just try to introduce it along with your other shit and see what works and see what doesn't work so you don't end up in a predicament where you have to keep outdoing yourself. And at a certain point, there's only so much dick to talk about until you start sounding like a broken record. And I feel like I probably sound like a broken record to the people that watch me, right? Also, I'm dealing with shadow bans on TikTok. I know it's such a lame ass term that people try to use and people discredit the fuck out of it. But on TikTok, they tried to take away my monetization about a month ago. I like I don't have any evidence of shadow ban, but I've had so many videos on TikTok took down. I've had so many audios taken down, and I truly do believe I'm shadow banned. Whether or not you want to believe that, whatever. But a big piece of evidence that I have for that is, let's see here. Okay, so this video has 30,000 views with 5,200 likes. That's a good view to like ratio, like a really good view to like ratio, right? His video had 300,000 views with 400,000 likes. You see what I'm saying? Like I have a better like to view ratio, but yet my shit only has 30,000 views. While a lesser like to view ratio has more. So it is more about the fact that you're new right now, and not that like people see you as like some groundbreaking comedian. And it's not taken away from your ability because you obviously have the ability to get people's attention, but you want to put into their mind that you're not just that. And once again, when you upload these videos that are going to be branching out a little bit, they're not going to do good at first, but you'll gain people that think it's, or maybe they'll do good as fuck at first. You never know. But most likely they're not going to do as well because it's new to them. But it's better to do it while you're still blowing up rather than trying to do it later. And I've never really tried to branch out. So I can't 100% say, but I did at one point while I was still blowing up. I introduced the Xbox messages, and those did really fucking well. And they didn't really do that good at first, but they blew up. They became, that was more or less like normie goy slop. That was like super normie goy slop shit. So that's kind of why it did well. But that's another thing. If you could get some normies under your shit, like that would be good too. But don't worry about that. But the stupider your fan base is, the more they're gonna eat. Is what I'm saying there. And once again, this is no statement against YouTube or anything like that. This is a statement about TikTok and Instagram. So once again, that's what I mean by it's going to get old at some point. There's only so much dick and balls they want to hear from one person. It's better to try to change it. And I would even start like soon, like next week. I would try to come up with some ideas and start soon, sooner rather than later, because then in 2 months, if you try to introduce a new idea, they're going to say, oh, you've fallen off and you're desperate now. So, and another thing, Bun Rider, really quick, filter the fuck out of your comments. I'm not sure if you already do that, but use the fuck out of the comment filtering system. Right now, you're not going to get any comments about fell off or anything like that, but at some point you will. You do not want to let an idea get started that you've fallen off, because then once you get to that point, nobody takes you serious and you'll never have a chance again. I have regularly blocked fallen off, like fall off comment. Now I would let it loose. I don't care if they do it now. But back then in the day, before I introduced the Xbox videos that kept me relevant for about another month, I got to a point to where the views were definitely slowing down on the Fortnite videos, and they began commenting fall off and shit, but I had it filtered out. If I would have let them do that, it would have gotten to a point to where, oh, you're desperate and we don't give a fuck about what you're doing now. So you got to control the narrative around your Instagram page, and I think that that's my uh, dictatorial ideas that I have, and maybe that's not true, and maybe that's wrong. But in my opinion, control the fuck about the narrative around you. Don't let anybody else shape your narrative. I'm not saying it gets less funny, but it gets old in terms of a viewer standpoint, right? They only want to see you talk about dick and balls for so long, and then it becomes, oh shit, you're still doing this. And for me, I almost want to be seen as a lolcal, and I've talked about this before. I want it to be like, oh shit, he's still doing this. He's a fucking idiot. I want, because I care so little about it. I want it to turn into a joke. The fact that I'm still doing it. But if you want to maintain relevancy based off of this, really evolve your content. You know, start making different shit. Don't really do it. You got to gradually do it. But if it works out and you start being known for being able to do multiple forms of content, you can stay relevant a lot longer than just, hey, this is a one trick pony. Don't remain a one trick pony like I did. Or do. I don't care what you do. But and if you care a lot about that, be really interactive with your fans. I've never been interactive with my TikTok and Instagram fans just because, I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? 80,000 let's say I had 80,000 subscribers on YouTube compared to I have 80,000 followers on Instagram. They don't fuck with me on Instagram. I have, what do I have? Like 60,000, I think, on YouTube. I have probably like 10 to 15 people that watch everything I do. They comment all the time. And once again, I'm not objectifying these people. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm a lot more important to these people than I am to people on Instagram. Like, there's nobody on Instagram that really gives a fuck. Social media is just such a blank thing. So there's another piece of advice. If you could get people the fuck off of TikTok and onto some other platform, that would be great as well, Bun Rider. But once again, do not completely do what I did. Don't just stop innovating. Don't just get comfortable with TikTok. You if you want to maintain it, you have to keep ever changing and trying to come up with new ideas. Don't end up like I don't know, all fucking thousands of the people that blow up really quick and then fall off. You have to switch it up to remain relevant and show people why you deserve to have that following. Once again, I don't really give a shit what you do, though, right? Yeah, this video has been stupid, but this what this channel is about, right? It's about random rambling, and whether or not you want to listen to it, that's fine. But yeah. So that was to wrap up the kind of, once again, a tribute to the Fortnite Bird. It's not ending, but whatever. It's pretty much over, right? As soon as the cameo money dries up, I'm done with it, right? And just kind of to address the Bun Rider situation, So, yeah. Have a good day, and bye. Speaking of Twiggle Monster, really quick here at the end of the video, I just looked him up because I was editing this video, and you don't really call it editing. I'm just making sure I didn't say anything too weird. Because when I just ramble, sometimes I start talking about my addictions, and some of my addictions involve people that really probably should be my little cousin, but instead they're romantical partners. Anyways, I opened up Twiggle Monster's Instagram, and he came back in June, and he has 73 likes on a video. That's because I'm better. He uses the Fortnite eagle. Okay, so he uses my bird, and then let's listen to this clip.
Someone come get this email off my screen. I'm not trying to do this shit today. I'm trying to move on with this. Mama, this email was calling me cry.
So okay, so that sounds pretty similar if you've watched Llama Rider 37 videos. Another thing that I don't know if I necessarily came up with it, but obviously that's a direct copy, is the pretending like you're, beating it while looking at the Fortnite skin. And even in one of my videos, I said, let's turn the bird around. And then I start beating it, I think. I don't know. I've made hundreds of them. That is just another direct copy. Twiggle Monster is the most uncreative person in the world. Once again, Bun Rider is leagues better than him. Is Bun Rider original? No, but it's okay. The torch has been passed. Fuck Twiggle Monster.